Oh yeah, I'll tell you what, man. This chapter of My Hero Academia, All Might lays it down like a goddamn circus clown, tells it straight to All For One, right to his weird, burnt-up, sandpaper-like face. I am All Might, bitch. You're not going to succeed. I will smash you and Tomura's villain organization as many times as I have to for the rest of your life. Izuku's gonna come out of this okay, and I'm gonna come out of this okay. Justice will prevail. I am All Might. I will not die. I will not allow Shigaraki to kill me. I will succeed at the end of the day. And there is nothing that you can do, All For One, to stop me. And then just walks out of the freaking jail cell. And All For One is speechless, completely speechless, has nothing to say to him. This will be My Hero Academia chapter 116. I hope you're ready, because I know I am. Okay, so, chapter, of course, starts off with All Might and All For One inside of their prison block. We get and this place is legit, alright? This place is lit. Alright, we have this little scene where All For One is going on to explain exactly how the prison system works, how it's all set up. And, of course, this is maximum security prison for people that have superpowers, okay? So there's no fucking around here, alright? The place is called Tartarus, or it's taking the word from Greek mythology, and he says it means Lord of Hell. For those of you that are nerdy enough to care, Tartarus isn't necessarily a person, it's more of like a place. It could be considered a person in some respects, but it's really just like super hell. Like in Greek mythology, right, you have like heaven, and you have the living world, and you have Hades, which is like the underworld. Tartarus is even below that. Okay, Tartarus is even below hell. It's like the place where the Titans are, like, prisoned and shit, okay? But in some respects, it could be viewed as a deity, but whatever, that's neither here or there. Anyway, the place is so tight security that, on top of All For One being constantly restrained, if he even moves his, if he even just tries to, scratch an itch on his back, against the chair, every freaking machine gun in this place is going to be immediately pointed at him. They're constantly monitoring his vitals, his brainwave functionality. If he says, if he even thinks about activating one of his quirks, then they're going to just restrain him, have their hands around his throat before he can even blink or even think about doing it. So the place is severely, restricted there. All Might's probably the first person that he's had to talk to, since he got here, probably. So, the first question that All Might wants to ask him, this is pretty much just an interview chapter, but it's very intense, so it keeps it moving. The first question that All Might asks him is where's Tomura? Where's he at? Where's he at so we can shut this down? All For One says, well, I don't know where he is, but, this is kind of not a very interesting conversation, really. He's probably going around building up his criminal organization, but you're not going to be able to stop him. I don't know where he is, so that he's probably laying low. He's a smart kid. He knows what to do next, right? Just because I'm not in the picture doesn't mean he's going to be like a helpless kitten, essentially. And that's when All Might brings up, what is it what do you even want? All For One, what's your goal? And All For One's just dude, really? I've been locked in a jail cell for a few weeks, not being able to talk to anybody, having a fucking machine gun pinned on me constantly, monitoring my brainwave activity, and this is the first conversation I've had in 2 weeks, and this is what you're bringing on me? Why are you doing these horrible things? All For One's response is actually pretty simple. It's just look, you wanted to be a symbol of peace ever since you were a kid. I wanted to be a symbol of villainy ever since I was a kid. It's just aspirations, really. If you don't understand it, you're not going to be able to. It's one of those things that you really I can't explain to you, basically. So, All For One tries to change the conversation during his link. It's kind of like the conversation you had in Silence of the Lambs, where, she's going to sit down and talk to Hannibal Lecter, and he's like, oh, I'm going to be the one that leads this conversation, but no. Even though Hannibal is the one locked behind the jail cell, he's the one that's actually carrying the conversation. So he tries to shift it in his favor, going on talking about what All Might did to him, and I got something from this, and I don't know if you got the same thing, because even though All For One mentions that you and me are sort of the same, All Might, you aspire to be the symbol of peace, and I aspire to be the symbol of villainy or whatever, we're kind of the same, but the way that All For One is talking to All Might, it doesn't seem like he views him as like his arch nemesis or something like that. This isn't like a Batman Joker sort of deal we're going with here. It's not like All For One sitting behind there like, you're the one that trapped me in this place. You defeated me at every turn and you crushed my dreams and now I'm reduced to this. I mean, a lot of that is true, but it's not like he's taking that like, you know, oh, you're my ultimate nemesis. No, it's more of just like, I was the one that had all these amazing abilities. I've lived for this long. I've tried to become like, I had the world basically in the palm of my hand, essentially. I had everything ready to go. I had people that were following me. I had all this shit ready to go. And you're the one that pissed in my Cheerios, basically. You're the one that delayed the inevitable. This is going to happen, All Might. This is gonna go down. Whether or not I'm alive or not, Tomura will just pick up right where I left off, and there will be other people. All you did was, like, you know, he mentions, like, you're the one that reduced me to this. You know, you broke me so much, so that's the reason I'm raising Tomura, because All Might brings that up. He's just like, well, if you're so fucking badass and shit, why do you need a successor? And he, All For One, just kind of laughs, and he's just like, well, because you reduced me to this. Like, this is still gonna happen, I just had to create a successor to do it for me. I wanted to be the one to do it, but you're the one that had to be all uppity, like, I'm the symbol of peace, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you, All For One. And then All For One's like, oh, okay, fine, I guess I'll raise the successor and let him do everything now. So that's the idea I had with it. All For One is not, he does not seem like he's defeated. Even if he rots away for the rest of his life in this place, which he probably is not going to. I, for one, think there's a man on the inside, you know, yeah, but, even though if he dies, though, right now, if All Might just stands up, breaks the glass, and just magically gets all of his powers back and just creams fucking All For One in the floor and he's dead, gone forever, it's not gonna, it's just delaying the inevitable, you know what I mean? So the entire time this interrogation's going on, there's an intercom. I don't know if it's an intercom like, you know, that All Might can hear, but All For One cannot hear, or if it's like a, you know, an earpiece or whatever. But they're the people at the prison, like the guards, telling him like, oh, you got 3 minutes, All Might. There's one point where coming up that we get, and anyway, they keep bringing him up like, you can't do this, you can't, you know, keep in mind you only have this many minutes left, and so. He's I guess All For One would hear. This is a semantics argument. I'm getting off the track. Anyway, All For One, after hearing that All Might is going to leave soon, he doesn't respond with, like, whatever. He responds like, oh, no, wait. There's something else I wanted to tell you. There's more stuff I wanted to talk about. Please, God, I'm bored as hell in here. He brings up that, you know, since your absence, I can make some assumptions on what's going on in the outside world, and that's when the intercom guards come on, and they're like, yeah, he doesn't know anything about what's going on in the outside world, so, you know, don't reveal it to his discretion, and All Might's just like, yeah, so they say, so implying that he might have a way, he might have a person on the inside or some other way, because he's not activating quirks in this place, so maybe there's someone else telling him what's going on. But either way, he hits it dead on, exactly what's going on outside. The public apprehension about the rise of Endeavor becoming the #1 hero, the fact that, you know, All Might's not the symbol of peace, so everything's kind of crumbling at the seams, and how All Might must feel beyond this. Like, he nails it exactly. All Might gets really pissed by this, you know, he stands up, and, you know, All For One's just like, so how does it feel, All Might? And there's this moment where it's very clear that if All Might still had his powers, he would just break through the fucking glass and then just nail him in the head. Eventually their interview is up, though, and that is when, you know, All Might declares, like, oh, you want, so what's the plan here? Tomura's gonna kill me, Tomura's gonna kill Izuku, that's what your master plan is, basically, and that's when he has his big declaration of, I will not die, I will not allow Shigaraki to kill me, and that's where he just walks out. And he's like, till the end, I will smash you to the end of your life. And as he's walking out, as the doors are shutting, you can hear All For One just like, end of my life, you say? Okay. And then doors shut, and that's the last we see him. So I think All For One was the dominant in that conversation. Honestly, if we're just talking about verbally here, he managed to get a rise out of All Might. All Might really didn't learn anything too much. Meanwhile, All For One, I think, learned quite a bit. And like I said, you know, when you come out and you're like, I'm not gonna die, no way in hell. Yeah, I'm thinking he's gonna die soon, because when you say shit like that, you kind of cringe a little bit, like, Anyway, end of the chapter. We have All Might being driven home by Naomasa, his police friend, which... I wonder if he could actually have any time. Probably not. Anyway, they're driving back, and while All Might was interrogating All for One, now Masa was actually going and interrogating Stain, the hero hunter, the hero killer. So, because remember, Stain was incarcerated in the same kind of facility. So, he says, like, I wasn't able to take notes because, it's a maximum security prison or whatever, but I did manage to get some information, and he's right about to tell All Might what it was when All Might's phone rings, and he's just like, oh, yeah, important information about a hero killer, yeah, whatever, hold on a second, let me just check my phone. Oh, it's Izuku, and he checks his phone, and that's, keep in mind, when he was interviewing All for One, it took place at, like, the same time as the provisional license exam was going on, so he gets a text from Izuku saying, he passed, he showed him a picture of his provisional license, and we get this scene with All Might just kind of wiping a tear. It doesn't really, but kind of like wiping an emotional tear from his eye. And now Moss is just like, wait, what's going on? He's just like, no, just keep your eyes on the road, all right, whatever. Just tell me about Stain. And we just cut away. We don't find out what he said to Stain. Probably something relevant, and I hope we find out about that soon. So, last scene of the chapter, we cut back over to the campus. We cut back over to Heights Alliance. We see Izuku and all the guys and the girls hanging out there in the common area of the dorm, all celebrating the fact that they won. Well, I guess except for, we don't see Todoroki, and, Bakugo is there as well, but we'll get to him in a second. And they're all just like, I guess we're back to regular classes tomorrow or whatever. That was a crazy summer break, wasn't it? Remember that time we were at that lodge and the entire place got infiltrated with like a bunch of villains, and they threw a deadly nerve gas that almost killed us, and then we got back from that, and then we raided a hideout and almost got killed by a guy that's virtually nigh immortal with a shit ton of quirks. And who could forget that time we had that provisional license exam and we got attacked by a giant orca guy? Like, that was a crazy summer break, I gotta tell you. But anyway, yeah, they're back to regular classes now. End of the chapter, we have Bakugo approaching Izuku, and he's just like, hey, after you're done, can you come outside? I gotta talk to you about something. It's about your quirk. So I think finally it was Bakugo, among all people, that actually managed to connect the dots here. I've never had a chance to bring this up, but everybody in Class 1A should know that Izuku has All Might's quirk by now. Maybe not the general public, because they're not around Izuku too much. They don't know about his quirk so much. But let's think about this for a second here. Imagine you're Izuku's classmate here. Like, I understand that quirks, like, they don't transfer. There's no quirk that's ever been able to do that. But let's look at it this way. Izuku idolizes All Might. All Might is a teacher at UA that clearly, knows Izuku. They talk, all right? All Might loses his quirk or is getting redoundingly weaker as Izuku, who previously did not have a quirk at all, now has one that is remarkably similar to All Might's quirk. Wonder what's going on here. Everybody should have figured this out a long time ago. Like, Izuku, you got All Might's quirk, didn't you? Yeah, I don't even know how you did that, but come on. That's pretty obviously what happened. But no, it was Bakugo, who I guess that would make sense, though, because unlike the other kids, Bakugo's actually known Izuku when he did not have a quirk for years. So maybe he connected the dots. So I don't think this is going to be another fake out. Like, it's not going to be like, I need to talk to you about your quirk, and then he mentions something completely irrelevant. No, this is going to be like, your quirk is All Might's quirk, isn't it? You figured there was something going on here. You could transfer. I don't know what the hell, but that's what happened, right? Now, what Bakugo is going to do with this information, I have no idea. Because he's not going to run his lips. That's not how Bakugo does things. He's not going to go around telling the people. All right? He's not going to go blabbing it. So that makes me interested, though, is what exactly he's going to say. Know what I mean? I have no idea. I really don't. I don't know how he's going to bring it up. He might get kind of pissed, like, why didn't you tell me, or whatever. You just don't keep secrets like that, you freaking Deku, or whatever. I don't know. But this is going to be the first time that Bakugo and Deku have really talked, since the whole Kamino Ward incident. you know, because they had a few interchanges in the provisional licensing, not really. It's pretty much going to be the first time they've talked. So I'm looking forward to it and where this is going down. We're probably going to start a new arc now. I think we've just kind of wrapped up everything now, moving into a new school year, seeing what's up with that. Probably going to move into a new lesson now and see what like this lesson's going to entail. So yeah, that's pretty much it though. Pretty intense chapter, even though it was mostly just, you know, dialogue interchange between All Might and All for One, but it was still a very, very intense chapter. Kept you on your toes, and that kind of like I said, like the silence of the lambs, you know, it's like the lambs, Clarice, you know, just, you know, even though it's just verbal, it still manages to keep your attention. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks. Did you think who won that conversation? All Might or All for One? Basically, that'll be the question I think I'll throw down there. Well, have a good night, everyone. This will be Tekking101 signing out.